ladies and gentlemen, it does seem like Bill Burr has some serious issue with conservatives. He was on Jimmy Kimmel, obviously Jimmy Kimmel a few days ago, did the fake tears, the fake crying, blamed all the wildfires on Trump, said it was his fault because Trump blamed Newsom, but Republicans can't blame Democrats when things go wrong, when there's an actual natural disaster like a hurricane that you really can't prepare for with Florida, then Republicans get blamed. We get called dumb, but we can't blame any of them. That makes total sense. And Bill Burr's going to school us on why we're so stupid and why we don't know anything about fires and stuff. And he totally misses the point on what Republicans were saying. But even Kimmel's like, who's obviously super left wing, he's trying to like get off of the topic. He's like, all right, let's just go to something else or not. And Burr keeps doing the political schnick where he's like, oh, the Republicans are so stupid, making all these jokes, and you're a comedian, I get it. Let's just see what Bill Burr has to say here. But the thing just came off really weird because it seemed like Kimmel was trying to like get off of the topic. So let's listen to what Bill Burr had to say.
The winds moved, but you know, the fire was coming and all that stuff. So I feel lucky.
Are you guys back in?
And I think everybody did a great job.
Yeah.
Unlike the internet, you know?
Yeah, right. I know. It's right.
Oh, my God. All of these fire experts. Why didn't you just fly a helicopter into the ocean? And then just, I don't know, because there was 100-knot winds? You want to do that? You want to do that at night, you lunatic?
How are you?
This was definitely mismanaged.
That's a big word we're hearing now.
Mismanaged, like some idiot on the internet knows how to manage the worst fire in LA.
Well, no, it was mismanaged because there wasn't proper preparation for it. When you've got people saying that something really bad's going to happen with these fires if the wind gets hold of them, you would think California, which we're told over and over again by Democrats, is it keeps America afloat. It'd be the, you know, the sixth richest country based on GDP if it became its own country. Now, little old Canada needs help from the federal government, and Gavin Newsom's out there crying. And I mean, I'm not even sure. Bill Burr's trying to argue like the response to it was good or whatever, but it was mismanaged in the way that it was preventable, or at least widespread fires. And you talk to fire experts, people that know this can be managed, and you can do controlled burns and brush trimmings and things to keep fires like this under control. And you would think out of any state, California, which this is where this type of stuff tends to happen with the climate being extremely dry and the winds, it's not a good combination. Nobody's saying that that can be mitigated. Like, you can't stop the wind, but you can mitigate the fire from spreading the way that it did. And Bill Burr's arguing with ghosts here. He's creating a straw man that none of us said. Nobody's even talking about helicopters over the ocean. The main criticism with Newsom was beforehand and all the DEI hires, and you've got the mayor who's this liberal lady who just, it's horrible leadership. They ask her questions, she like laughs about it, she doesn't even answer. And then Newsom's there like crying, saying, Trump, these are your supporters, you need to help them, we need a handout. Really, California needs a handout? Seriously? When you're going to sit there and brag to us and say that you dumb Republicans, all your countries are, you know, are on subsidies, they make no money, California, and now California needs help? Really? Seriously? You couldn't get fires under control? I thought you were like the fifth most powerful country in the world if you were to be independent, but now you need all this help. But seriously, shouldn't the richest state in the United States be able to manage the situation? We see it in 2018, fires burning all over the place. Shouldn't there be some proper management that gets put into place? But no, we can't blame anyone. Most conservatives didn't even attack the response to it. They were saying, well, there was no water in the fire hydrants, and the one reservoir within the Palisades wasn't even filled. And they tried to say that was misinformation. It turned out to be true. And Newsom said, oh, I'm going to launch an investigation into it. So this is a total straw man. And watch Kimmel try and be like, all right, let's get off of this here. Let's talk about something else. And then Burr goes back to it.
Sitting there in his underwear. You know what? Looking at the footage on the internet, I have determined that this here was mismanaged.
It was mismanaged
You know
beforehand.
about helicopters because I remember, and it's interesting now thinking about it, because you said that
About it. I know about the one that I fly. Other than that, I don't know anything about it.
you know
But
something
if you're on
about,
the internet, you know everything.
I I hope
Sorry.
you know about it because you said that
Yeah,
you
Democrats
got
do
your
with the
pilot's
hurricanes, right?
license in case like all hell broke loose in L.A. You could get out of L.A. And at any moment, did you think I'm going to make a run for that helicopter?
Well, the error in my thought was I didn't realize how expensive helicopters were. So
So he's trying to get off of the political.
all I have is a two-seater, and I didn't want to have to make Sophie's
Burr goes
choice
back to
with
it.
my family.
It's like a schnick he's
So,
got going.
you know, we all piled into the SUV like everybody else. But no, man, these guys were out there clearing the trees, getting the wires back up and everything. You know, I mean, it was like the perfect, awful thing that could have happened, and it did. And I love how all the chatter out there is about bands of illegal immigrants and homeless people lighting fires. They light fires every day. They're living outside. They're cold. And this theory that some homeless guy without a car went from Altadena all the way to the Pacific Palisades, and then we have a hang glider. You know, and they're talking about looting, but CNN and Fox News are not going to bring up the insurance companies that are just going to keep everybody's premiums and still give themselves a bonus.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, and then the federal government
Free
has to pay.
Luigi! I love how they acted surprised. Why did that happen? I have no idea. He wrote on the bullets why it happened.
Oh, we're back to Luigi. Okay, yeah.
And so, like a teenage girl, he starts simping for Luigi. Oh yeah, we're really shocked. You know, he murdered someone in broad, you know, just randomly in public at like 6 a.m. That's totally normal behavior. That when you want to get something, that's what you got to do. And then I'm not even going to discuss that. Listen, I think insurance companies do really bad things. I agree. But, you know, handling it that way, yeah, he wanted to be a martyr, and dumbasses like this allow Luigi to be a martyr. But listen, when you've got something like this with Burr, even Kimmel was trying to like, all right, you've got your own helicopter, whatever. He was trying to small talk him off of it. And then Burr goes back to it. And then Kimmel's like, wait, you're going back to this. We're trying to stay away from it. So it was just strange. I mean, it's like, is he clearly wanted to, you know, send a message or whatever, but it's like, you're creating a straw man. Then he's talking about like looting and stuff. Yeah, there's a bunch of looting going on. It's really bad. And then what happened is these people in California, because there's just so much people, you know, that are either homeless or have nothing to lose in California and all these major cities, it just gets totally out of control. Liberals allow it to happen. And this all goes back to not prosecuting certain criminals, and it gets worse and worse, and it spirals out of control. But they'll dress up in fire gear and say, oh, I'm a firefighter, and then go loot houses in California. That's what was told to me, and it's really bad. So that's happening. And then he's like, no, who cares about that? Talk about insurance companies. And yeah, I mean, it's probably going to be all the federal government. That's why Newsom came out and cried about it. But you've got that. And I do remember, I don't know if you guys saw this. Listen, who knows if this ceasefire is actually going to go through. There's like 5 different levels to it. But Trump swayed Netanyahu more in one meeting than Biden did all year. I saw that headline. And then Biden tried to take credit for it. It might not even, the ceasefire might not even work out anyways, but Biden tried to take credit for it. And they asked Biden, like, he's making more public appearances now. He's got like 3 days left or whatever. And he's like, who gets credit, you or Trump? And then he's like, is that a serious question? And all of the top elite politicians know Trump is the reason this is happening. Him coming into office is that's the only thing that changed. It's been the exact same situation for the last like 5 months. The only thing that changed is Trump's coming back. FBI closes its Office of Diversity and Inclusion. I don't know why they had it in the first place. Byron Donalds privately says he will run for governor of Florida. People talking about Byron Donalds possibly being a VP candidate for Vance or whoever. That's been going around. Trump's new portrait. So obviously it looks like Trump's trying to portray more like strength and hardened leadership from the 2017 portrait when he went to the White House in January. 8 years later, it's a more hardened look similar to his mugshot. You've got Brian Kemp. I mean, Brian Kemp is loved in Georgia, and apparently he's running, I think. Yeah, he is running. I think for senator there. There's Donald Trump's photos there. This is pretty crazy, this Gallup party affiliation. I'll tell you what, when you're looking at the election in 2028, the party affiliation is so accurate. I mean, it seriously is. I was wondering if it was going to be accurate this cycle because I kept referencing it because I was just shocked at its accuracy over the previous like 3 or 4 cycles. Oh, no, I think it goes back to 2004. It's been very accurate. This is just popular vote, but still, I mean, popular vote can tell you. And in 2020, I mean, even in 2022, people say the Republicans struggled in 2022. Not in terms of generic vote, they didn't. They won the generic vote, and this had, Republicans winning it by 1 point. 2024, Republicans by 1, and Trump won by like 1.2 or whatever. I mean, this is crazy accurate. And I was wondering if Gallup was going to be accurate this cycle, just because it's hard to think Republicans would win the popular vote because it hasn't happened in forever. But it does end up happening. First time since 2004, and the Gallup Party ID, it's the holy grail, man. It really is when it comes to at least popular vote. And I can tell you who's going to, I mean, if Republicans win the popular vote, they're very likely going to win the general election. We've also got, this is something I want to talk about. This is hilarious. It's like this weird paradox thing going on here. So this is, it's like a double whammy with liberalism. This is the Reddit subreddit for Blue Sky. So we know Blue Sky, extremely left wing. All of the liberals after Trump won, they ran to Blue Sky just like they did in, 2023? They went to Threads for a few. I mean, I'm sure this Blue Sky, although I don't know, maybe it doesn't have more standing than Threads, but Threads lasted about a week. Blue Sky, obviously the hype is going to get died down for it, but I'm sure there are still a bunch of liberals only using Blue Sky, but that's basically what it is. And this is someone who I guarantee you is very left-wing, saying that the app Blue Sky is not left-wing. Remember, the entire rally cry for Blue Sky, and the reason it was #1 in the App Store, was because Trump won the election, and liberals left X for Blue Sky. So the entire reason was to form a liberal echo chamber on Blue Sky because Trump won the election. And here's a liberal saying it's not left-wing. Okay, chatter, it's not left-leaning. I see many people talking about Blue Sky as a left-leaning social media platform. It is not. It is just what a social media platform looks like when extremist right-wingers aren't using bots and or forcing algorithms that push fear-mongering and hate. The world has been pushed so far to the right that even conservative moderates are labeled left-leaning. Don't play the game. It's not left. Okay, so the hilarious irony in all of this is liberals were so used to Twitter being extreme left-wing, they thought that was normal. So when Musk took over the platform, and by the way, there's statistics and analysis that back this up, when Musk took over the platform and where we are right now in 2024, when you look at party affiliation, CNN specifically did a poll on this on X. It was 48% liberal, 47% conservative, and then the rest independent or whatever, or unaffiliated. So it was like even down the middle. And it's funny how this person is acting like it's so right-wing when the reality was liberals just got used to X being, or at the time Twitter, being extremely left-wing when it finally balanced out, which has been proven by CNN and their poll. What this person is saying, none of this is true at all. It's just not, there's nothing, none of this is based on fact. But that's what you get with these people. But what they said with their poll is now X is basically 50-50. And so liberals got used to it being very one-sided. Now that it's 50-50, it just seems that it's more conservative now to liberals. And I can understand the Musk influence, obviously being the owner, he's more right-wing. That could have more of an influence. I get that. But still, just the idea of it, the irony, and this person is just so oblivious and so stupid, they don't realize they're arguing against their own point. And the statistics back it up. We have the polls to back it up. Back in 2022, it was what was it, like 69 to 30? I mean, the CNN has done polls on this. It was like 70-30 liberals control, or might have been even crazier. It was Republicans at like 29% in terms of affiliation on Twitter in 2022, and then Musk takes it over. And maybe it'll be more conservative in the future, but I'm just saying, when they did the poll in the 2024 election or around there, it might have been even after, like slightly after the 2024 election, because this whole thing with Blue Sky started. She's arguing that it's very right-wing when you're just so used to it being left-wing. When it's evened out, it seems right-wing. And that Blue Sky, which is the app that liberals, they said, this is it. It's a liberal echo chamber to get away from right-wing people that are on Twitter and X, gloating because Trump won. The lack of self-awareness is so, it's like, even if you tried to explain it to this person, their head would spin. They just wouldn't, but it's like, it is what it is. Either way, guys, that is going to do it for this video. Make sure you follow me on X. Link to that's always in the description.